Hi, today is episode 10, and let's talk about demand today. Not about traffic, not about followers, not even about leads, even though leads, it's a form of demand. But today, we're actually talking about demand, sales generation, people competing to actually buy your stuff or work with you if you are in a service business. The culmination of everything we have been talking about in the past 9 episodes, today is the 10th episode, is all about generating demand, amplifying demand, ensuring that you actually sell, and ensuring that you're not the one chasing clients or chasing customers. Instead, people are coming to you, demanding to buy from you. And demand is everything that you actually need, because you can have attention, but attention without demand is simply noise. And of course, you can generate traffic. We talk about traffic generation, but traffic without demand is expensive. You're spending money, but nobody actually want to buy your product, even though they come to your landing page, they come to your funnel, right? But real demand is when people actually want your offer. It is when people believe that you are the solution, and it is when people move to you without you trying to chase after them. The reality of the fact is that oversubscribed brands don't chase after customers or after clients. Instead, they position themselves just like sugar. All right, wherever sugar is positioned, laid bare, right, exposed, you see ants coming to feast on the sugar. So oversubscribed brands position themselves. They clarify their offers. They build systems to create pull instead of chasing after customers. So this week, what we are discussing is about turning your business from trying to persuade people or convince people to attracting demand. That is what we want to deal with in this week's episode, and it's titled Demand Amplification: How to Build Business that People Compete to Join, that people compete to actually buy from, that people compete to be associated with. So let me use this part one, first section of this video, to discuss the strategy behind building predictable demand in its first place. Because when you talk about demand or sales generation, sometimes it feels mysterious. It feels as though there are so many things behind the scene, so many secrets that people that are actually selling oversubscribed brands are using, that you think you don't really know the secret, and it look like you are being left out. It's not really mysterious, right? So, and I'm going to deal with that right now. Predictable demand comes from 4 controllable inputs. It's just input, output. If you do your job to put in the input, the output would be predictable demand. It might not happen in 1 week or in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, but in the process of time, you're going to see predictable demand if you focus on the inputs. The problem is that people want the output, and they put all their attention on the output without working on the inputs. If you instead you work on these inputs, predictable demand would be inevitable. It's just like if you keep feeding baby food, it will be inevitable that the baby would grow up healthy. But if you keep feeding baby unhealthy food or no food at all, it will be inevitable that the baby would not grow up healthy. So if you focus on these inputs, the output would be inevitable. The first part of the input we'll be discussing right now is about consistent visibility. I'm going to talk about 4 inputs, and the first part is consistent visibility. If your brand becomes consistently visible for new audiences to see and for present audiences to keep seeing repeatedly, then you are in for an inevitable, predictable demand generation. But the problem is that many business owners are not consistent about showing up daily, and the market forgets inconsistent brands. If people only see you when you are launching, when it's time for you to sell your product, that is when you come out and then you create some content and then you run your ads. Well, you would have sales, but it wouldn't be as much as if those thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that are seeing your ads, if they have already seen you before. All right, you can have good outputs, but you would have had better outputs if you were consistent before that sales period when you actually wanted to launch your products. Because the reality is that familiarity builds preference. When people see you the first time, they've seen you the second time, they've seen you the third time. By the time they are seeing you and you want to sell your product to them, they already have a reason to believe you. All right, they have a reason to choose you instead of somebody they're seeing for the first time. And that's because research in marketing psychology repeatedly shows that repeated exposure increases trust and likability. So if you don't have visibility, you're not going to have familiarity with your audience, or your audience will not be familiar with your brand, and there will be little to no demand. So one of the inputs that you must usually put in if you want to have predictable demand is that it should be consistently visible. That means you choose a consistent time period where you must always show up. Is it every day you want to be posting your content on social media? Do you want to post your content every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Do you want to post your content 2 times a day, or 1 time a day every day, or 2 times a day every day, or 3 times a day every day? All right. And do you want to take it further, even if you're posting every day? Do you want to run maybe 1,000 ad per day or 2K ad per day toast? Keep boosting those posts so that they will reach more people every day. At this period, you're not actually actively selling, you are just showing up. We talked about content creation last week, so watch that episode to learn about content creation and content planning. All right, you're showing up every day, people are seeing you every day, and you are consistent. This is what you want to do if you want to build that familiarity. We dealt with this in episode 8, that's 2 weeks ago, content that sells. So go back and watch the episode 8 of this podcast, where we talk about how to show up consistently, how to create content that actually sells. So that is the first input. The second input that you must put in order to get predictable demand is what I call clear positioning. While it is good for you to show up consistently and be visible every day of the week or every week or consistently, it matters what you are visible about. Because the more you are visible, share content, what is happening is that as you share your content, as you share your messaging via organic content, via your ads, as people begin to experience your brand, they are buying your product, they are seeing how you treat them, the experience they have with your brand, something is shaping behind. All right, you are building a brand identity. All right, but other than that, with your messaging, you are positioning your brand to be known for something. And if your brand must be known for something, that thing must be unique. You must share about that big idea consistently. All right, so there must be a big idea about your brand, that thing that people know your brand for, so that when they come across your content, people can already know that you're going to talk about this thing, just that you're going to say it using different angles. All right, so people must know your brand for one clear message. But if your message shifts weekly, today you're talking about microphone, next week you're talking about iPhone, and the other week you're talking about lightning, it's not something that makes your brand strong like that. Or maybe you're in e-commerce and you're selling different products. There must be a one overarching unifying message that defines your brand, all right, from which you can now sell every other product. There must be one messaging, one big idea that your brand is positioned to actually showcase to your audience. So that messaging must be unique. That means you must have a clear problem that you are solving. One clear problem that your brand is solving. It is that one clear problem that people would know your brand for, so that when anybody has that problem, they immediately think about your brand. For example, if you think about noodles, what's come to your mind? Most likely Indomie will come to your mind. If you think about cement today, you most likely think about Dangote cement. All right, so your brand should be known for one thing, for solving one problem, one big enough problem. All right, the problem must be big enough so that it gets people's attention. People actually want to solve that problem. That's number one. Apart from solving one problem, you should have one clear audience of people you are addressing. What is positioning? Positioning actually means this is your brand solving this clear problem or giving this clear outcome for this clear or particular or unique audience. That is positioning. And you can always define your positioning even in a saturated market, especially if you learn how to differentiate yourself. All right. So you can be a Facebook ad specialist, but there are many Facebook ad specialists out there serving everybody that comes to them. So how do you differentiate yourself? You can look in the midst of your present clients. Which of your audiences are more common? All right. So if you have 10 clients, 5 of them are in skincare brand. One is in another brand. Each of the 5 others, they are in different brand. Then you can see that, you are serving more of skincare clients. So why not position yourself as a Facebook ad specialist for skincare brand? What's going to happen is that people who are in skincare, they will be drawn to working with you because it looks as though you are the expert for skincare. They rather work with you than work with a Facebook ad specialist that is a general purpose Facebook ad specialist. So that is what clear positioning will do for your brand. It separates you from every other person in the market doing the same thing that you are doing, because you have one unique audience you are serving by solving their problem or by giving them a specific outcome. So this is what you want to do: a unique problem, define your unique audience that you're actually serving. All right, if everybody is serving your audience, find an underserved niche inside that audience that people are serving. There will be a segment of that audience that nobody is paying attention to, that are underserved, that are starved, that are looking for somebody like you to actually serve them. So these audience are hungry, starved, underserved. They actually have the money to pay you. All right, why not clearly carve out that audience and serve them instead of competing for the audience everybody is already serving? So that's what I talk about when I'm saying have a clear, unique audience. All right, so a unique problem or unique outcome, a unique audience. But what happens when a competition now saw that you're serving this new audience? This will now want to come and serve this new audience. That's what happens in this world, right? When somebody starts a new thing, everybody wants to come and join that thing. Well, you can also still differentiate yourself by coming up with a unique mechanism, a unique way of doing things. Doesn't matter if everybody wants to do things the way you are doing it. There will be a unique mechanism, a unique way of doing things that separates you from others. All right, that is your intellectual property. That's how you do your thing. It might be your manner of approach to your audience. It might be how you do your work that others would never be able to do it the way you do your work. It might be how you just present service to the audience. You must have your unique mechanism that would differentiate you from others, even if they copy the external things that you do. There must be internal security, internal unique mechanism that pull in your clients towards you, all right, that makes them want to be loyal to your business. So this is what I talk about when I'm saying a clear positioning, all right, a clear problem outcome, clear audience, and even if somebody still come to your audience to come and serve them, you must have your own clear, unique mechanism. This is how you differentiate yourself. Positioning is how you differentiate yourself from competitors and make yourself an audience of one, so that in your mind you have no competitor. You are the only person known for that problem, solving it the only way that only you can solve it, that nobody else will be able to copy you. Even if they copy you, they will be second and third and last. They will be behind you. People are seeing you as a clear leader of the market. This is what you want to achieve if you want to get to have a predictable demand. That's your unique positioning, is what you must work on. And if you work on it, to come to a point such that while you're sharing your content like this, people will be able to complete your sentence for you. Because now people already know your one big idea, the central messaging, all right, of your content, so that they can even complete a sentence for you, because they already know everything you're trying to talk about. They're now familiar with your brand. They now know you, like you, trust you. If you get to that point where people already know what you want to talk about, your demand will stabilize. Now to the third input that you must work on in order to get predictable demand. All right, we talked about a clear messaging, all right, consistent visibility, and a clear positioning, unique positioning. Two of them is all about content, but content with a difference, content in a different way. Now that you've worked on these two, people already know you, like you, they trust you, but they want to trust your brand also. They want to trust the products or the service. They might even trust your product and service, that this thing, I think it works because they already like you. But the thing is, has it worked for others that have had their own problem before? All right. I know that your brand is good. I know that you are a trustworthy person. I've watched your content. I'm now familiar with you. I see you like my brother, my sister. I want to buy your product, but this product, has it worked for somebody that has the same problem that I have before? Not that I don't trust you. I trust you, but this product, especially if it is expensive, has it actually solved this problem for somebody before, someone who has the same problem I have now? Has this offer achieved an outcome for others that are in my shoe before? This is what your audience are asking. These are the questions in their mind, and you don't want them to ask you before you answer this question. So the third input is proof and social validation. All right, demand will grow faster when people see that other people actually are choosing you, and other people are seeing results, having their problem solved and their outcome achieved because of your products and because of your services. People believe what others say about your brand than what you say about your brand, because we are all social. All right, people will believe the words of a third party about you than your own words about yourself, even if they've not seen the third party before. So you want to present case studies about how you help somebody solve a particular problem, which might be the problem your audience is already also wants solved. All right, case studies, testimonials, reviews. You want to show people's results. You want to show screenshot about people's conversation with you about how they are satisfied about your service or your products. You want to share your client wins, your client milestones. Because of your product, your clients have moved from point A to point Z. You want to share it with others. You want to hold podcast sessions, interview sessions with your clients. Let them share their stories. All right. You want to share these stories with your audiences. This is what gives you more credibility than whatever promotion you want to do for your own brand by yourself. The reality of the matter is that proof would reduce perceived risk. People want to spend with you because they already trust you. Now they want to be sure that this product does what you say it will do. So they want to avoid making risk. And if you will show proof that that's helped others, you show your the screenshots, you show the testimonials, the reviews, and you show that people are already buying this product. You are not the first person to buy the product. Then people would enjoy buying the product from you. All right. The reduced risk would increase the speed of decision. People would make decisions faster when they realize others are already buying from you. That's just the way human beings work. Nobody wants to be the first person to buy your product and be the lab rat for your product. But when people see that others are already rushing your product, then they don't want to be left out. They will buy your product also. They will increase this, their decision-making time, and you would have predictable demand. That is the third input. The fourth input I'm talking about in order to have predictable demand is access control. And this is where predictable demand turns into perceived value. See, when access feels unlimited, anybody can buy anytime they want, the urgency will disappear. And that's when people will be telling you, I'll buy next week, I'll buy 2 weeks time, I'll buy 3 weeks time. See, I just bought a product yesterday. It was 35k until some days ago, but now the product is 40k. The person is reducing access or is increasing the price as the day goes by. So instead of 35k, I bought it at 40k because the time will be limited and then the product will go to 45, 50k. What the person is doing is actually increasing urgency for people to actually buy it. It's limiting the time, all right, of access at a lower price. That is what would enhance predictable demand if access is not unlimited. So what you want to do is to structure the access, all right, whether it is application process, ensure that you create an application process, a cohort limit. All right, you want to have a cohort for a course, you can say this course is limited to 100 students. So if you have 2,000 leads, 3,000 leads, they know that only 100 people will be accepted into this cohort. They will not be waiting to buy the course next year because they know that if they miss to be among the 100 set of students, then we have to wait until the next time the cohort is opened. You also have capacity boundaries, all right? Time windows. This is time for the cohorts. This is time for the sales of the products. Just like what the product I just bought, what it did. You put a time for which you can buy this product at this price. After this time, you can buy this product at a higher price. This is what will make your product feel valuable, all right? People would feel privileged to actually be your customer instead of feeling as though they are doing you a favor by buying your product or service. So your demand would become consecrated and your scarcity, if it's a true scarcity, it will increase perceived value. People would realize, okay, you're a serious business, you actually know your worth, and they will not keep postponing when to buy your products. They will sit down and buy the product now. And of course, that is essentially what predictable demand is. You don't have to go viral to have predictable demand. All you have to do is to engineer predictable demand. All right, now that we are done with part 1 of this episode, the part 2 of this episode, I want to talk about authority plus ads. Right, it's one thing to build authority organically, but it's another thing for you to be able to scale your authority. And ads, when you combine it with authority, help you scale faster. You don't want to run ads where you don't yet have authority in the market. Run your ads, especially if you want to get a first 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, even if you have authority, you want to show some basic proof, and then, if possible, work with people for free, and then get some testimonials, case studies, and then run the ads and then get clients, right? But while you're doing that, you want to start creating your messaging. You want to be consistently visible online. You want to build your authority, right, online. And as you do that, when you already have your unique positioning, you're consistently visible, your messaging is streamlined, you have a big idea, you have something you want to be known for, then you want to combine that with ads also. And when you combine the both, scale becomes sustainable. The question is, how do you build authority? Of course, I've hinted on that. You build authority via those case studies you talked about earlier on. Your long form content, where you build authority. I said in part 1 that you should be consistently visible. So your short form content, but more importantly, your long form content. Authority is built when people realize they can look up to you for a particular solution. You have a unique mechanism, you have your own unique framework for solving a particular problem. That is, this is your own intellectual property, right? People would ascribe that framework to you. That is how you build authority. When people talk about this terminology, they refer it back to you. Now you're building authority. But your long form content, your framework, the result you're already getting for other clients, for your customers, those case studies, testimonials, as you are sharing them, you're sharing the story of how you change the life, how you transform the life of your clients, of your customers, you are indirectly building authority in doing that. So you want to do that consistently. You want to put forth thought leadership about your industry. You want to put forth some principles. You want to just share your knowledge, all right, about your industry. You want to give your free content out. The more you sell products or services, the more people want to buy from you, the more others think you are an authority figure in that industry. So you want to be out there. You don't build authority by hiding yourself. You build authority by being consistently visible, giving people useful information that helps them and transform their lives. They tell others about you, and others begin to look up to you for the same thought leadership, same useful information about that industry. That's how you build authority. But while you build authority doing that, ads will help you distribute the authority faster. But like I said, you must ensure that you are building authority. In the beginning, you might not have authority. While you are running ad, you want to make sure you have something to actually deliver to others. You don't want to be confused in the beginning when even you don't have authority, because if your ads distribute confusion, like I said in part 1, if your messaging is neither here nor there, your ad is going to distribute confusion and you are going to lose money. But if your ads distribute clarity, you fine-tune your messaging, you know the messaging you're passing across to your audience, you have a big idea. People can complete your messaging for you. Then you already have clarity. If ads distribute that clarity, you're going to gain leverage. So ad is a multiplier, like we discussed in last week's episode, advertising with purpose. Ad is a multiplier, is an amplifier of what we have already set up organically. And that is why your content always comes before ads. Many people want to run their ads, but their page is not even set up. It doesn't look like a serious brand. Nobody will take it seriously if your page, your Instagram page, Facebook page, nothing is set up like a serious brand. Nobody will take you seriously. So you don't want to go faster than yourself. You want to make sure everything is already set up and you are building authority with your content. As you do that, then ads will help you distribute the authority faster. So both are important. Authority will reduce your cost per acquisition because you are not talking to people that don't know you. People already know who you are. You are not necessarily talking to cold audiences. Even cold audiences that may not know that they have a problem, they may not buy your name even though they don't know about their own problem. All right, that familiarity, that your name is synonymous to that solution you're providing in the market, already gives you some form of leverage. That is authority. And because of that leverage, your cost per acquisition will be reduced. All right, people would quickly buy your products or services without delay. And then with us, your demand generation will scale. So that is where you want to get your business to. You want to build authority and you want to scale authority with your ads. Now you're wondering, well, I don't have authority. Is that why my brand is not yet oversubscribed? Maybe. Because if you still keep chasing clients, still keep chasing customers, you're not yet oversubscribed. Because oversubscribed brands don't chase clients. Yeah, they don't chase clients. They already have authority, they have attraction, they have strong brand perception. People want to identify with them. All right, so you want to make sure that from this point henceforth, you are doing everything in the inputs in order to get your brand to become oversubscribed brand. And if you are just starting out, of course, you don't have authority, so you don't have to beat yourself over it. You just need to work on the input. So at the starting out, there's nothing bad in chasing clients. Chase after clients, all right, because we are just starting out. But if you've started for a long period of time and you're still chasing after clients, it's either you've not yet scaled your messaging with ads consistently, or maybe the authority is where the problem is. So that chasing will continue to happen because your positioning is unclear. I talk about positioning as part of the input that leads to predictable demand. So if your positioning is unclear, then desperation will leak through your messaging. You'll be desperate for people to come and buy from you. You want to force them, you want to convince them to come and buy because they don't see your brand as a brand they want to identify with joy, all right, that they want to compete to actually buy from. So you want to work on your positioning. Another reason is because your pipeline is inconsistent. You're not generating as many leads as possible. And that's what oversubscribed brands don't do. Oversubscribed brands ensure that they are always consistently generating leads. All right, they create consistent lead flow. They don't generate leads this week and then stop lead generation next week and then resume making next month and then stop next month. No, they consistently generate leads. If you have so many people in the pipeline waiting to work with you, you're not going to keep chasing customers. You are chasing customers because nobody is in the pipeline ready to talk to you to actually buy. So if you get started with lead generation and you consistently generate leads, if you have 100 leads and you can only serve 2 people, out of those 100, you will close more than 2 people. All right, that is just simple mathematics. So your pipeline is inconsistent. That is why you are still chasing after clients. And another reason why you are still consistently chasing after clients is maybe you are generating leads, but you are not nurturing them with emails, or you are not targeting them with targeting ads. So you are wasting your lead generation efforts. Is wanting to generate leads, is another thing to nurture them, prepare them, make them come to a point where they are ready to buy from you. And one other reason why you're still chasing after clients is because you've not maintained consistently publishing authority content. All right, you want to consistently publish content, consistently visible online. You have to be. Is when you are visible that people get familiar with you and they want to associate with your brand. So if you do this and you set up your conversion system, you are going to begin to create steady opportunity. And when you create steady opportunity for your brand, create opportunity for people to actually buy from you, then there's no more urgency to beg. Then you're not going to keep pressuring people to buy from you. Instead, you're going to invite them to come and buy, and they will be willing, happy to actually patronize your business. If you do this consistently, you're not going to keep doing discounts, all right, every discount to get people to buy from you. You're not going to do that. Instead, you're going to reinforce your value with your correct, appropriate messaging. It is that value that gets people to actually want to buy because they know what they're going to get when they buy from you. All right, so the difference is the pipeline stability. Are you generating leads? Are you nurturing them? Are you retargeting them? Do you have authority content? Are you showing them the value of what they are going to get as against the cost of actually not solving their problem or not achieving their outcome? If you do this, then you're going to generate demand consistently. If you do this, your leads are already predictable, and if they are predictable, then your posture will change. You will not try to convince people. In fact, you'll be limiting the number of people that would actually work with you because you have too many people in the pipeline that you cannot even serve all of them. Now that I've discussed how or why oversubscribed brands get to not chasing after clients, but instead clients competing with them, let me also talk about market self-selection, how to ensure that the market self-selects itself. Now, when we talk about self-selection, it means your messaging filters people, all right? It filters people even before you speak to them, even before they come to your webinar, even before they come to your one-on-one consultation, even before they convert into leads, all right? Your messages filters them. You don't want your message to be for all people and everybody just come to your funnel. So that means you don't really have a clear position. All right, you are not for everyone. You are for a particular set of audience, like I mentioned before. So your clear positioning, as much as it attracts your own kind of audience, it should at the same time repel as much also. If you have a good messaging focusing on a specific audience, it will automatically repel others that don't fit into the audience your messaging is for. All right, so that is what you want to ensure. You want to ensure that this message can only be received, accepted, liked, commented on, agreed by, and followed through by unique audience. Not everybody qualifies for your offer, so everyone should not feel qualified for your offer. Only your specific audience should be qualified. If everyone should be qualified for your offer, the positioning is weak. You have not defined your audience. You've not streamlined your message, the big idea behind your message. You've not focused on specific problem or aspect you actually want to deliver to the audience. All right, so your positioning is weak. That should not be so. So your messaging should by itself prepare people. People should select that, okay, this is for me. This is not for me. All right, so if you are running as those skincare brands, for instance, the words you are using in your ad, in the video ad, in the image, in the ad copy, everything should be specific to the skincare brand. And if there is a niche inside skincare that you actually want to address, those messaging should be specific to that niche so that every other segment of skincare don't come into your funnel. All right, but if you are speaking to everyone in skincare brand so that you convert those in that niche, then you want to focus on the skincare brand. That's how your audience will self-select themselves because of your message. So just to be clear, your messaging should state clearly who it is for, who it is not for, what it requires. You are selling a product, an offer, what it requires to buy this offer, all right? What this offer will deliver them, what outcome they're going to get. In fact, when you are done with this, those wrong people that don't meet up to your target audience, they are the ones that will disqualify themselves. Just that, of course, there always outliers, exceptions. Some people will still be curious to come to your landing page, but majority of them that are wrong audience will not come to your landing page if you follow through with a correct positioning via specific messaging to your specific audience, dealing with specific problem, and achieving a specific outcome. So if the wrong people are able to disqualify themselves, it's going to reduce friction, because now you're not talking to the wrong. Those ones have already disqualified themselves. Only the right people are focusing on your messaging. Only the right people are coming to your landing page to convert it. So you're going to reduce objections, because you are really talking to people who need the messaging. And you're going to reduce sales resistance. There's no need for people to be resisting buy from you, except if because your authority is not yet settled. Then your case studies, testimonials, every other thing are there to hasten the sales conversion. So if you do this, you're going to have increase in conversion quality. Your lead generation will be of high quality. You won't have low quality leads. That is leads that will never buy, because they were never your audience in the first place, because your messaging was for general. So everybody just come to your funnel and they convert into leads. No, you are going to have low quality leads because of that. But if the market self-select themselves, because you have a great positioning via a unique messaging for your specific audience, the wrong people will excuse themselves, and only the right people would qualify. So your lead quality will be very high. So self-selection increases your demand quality, it increases your lead quality, it increases even your traffic quality. All right, it increases the lead quality and it increases the demand quality. So you want to ensure this. Your market should self-select themselves. They will only self-select themselves if you make them self-select themselves via your messaging, both in the ads, in the organic content, and even on the landing page, so that when they see your ad, they self-select themselves. They are too curious to come to the landing page. All right, that's wrong. People still come to the landing page. The copy, the messaging there should also self-select them. Maybe they are still curious. On the landing page, you can quiz questions. All right, so that when anybody that is not your audience answer that question that qualifies the person as a wrong audience, you sit them out. All right, you want to ensure you are always getting the market to self-select themselves. And if you do this, you may not have as many leads as you would have had if the market doesn't self-select. You are going to have high quality leads who will always buy from your brand. And yeah, that is the fourth way that I've mentioned about how to ensure your demand is predictable and how you can amplify your demand. Another way you can go about this is learning to say no to the wrong audience, because there will always be outliers. That is exception. People will still curious and come to your DM or come to your funnel. You need to say no to them, or even to your own audience, people who are still not ready. All right, because you've been consistent with generating as many leads as possible. Your pipeline is full. You don't have to say yes to everyone. All right, you want to make your scarcity genuine. If you implement scarcity in your marketing and your sales, it's going to increase passive value, but only when the scarcity is real. Yeah, if people recognize that scarcity is real and the real consequences for not buying early, and they are going to miss out, next time they are going to buy very early. But if you know that this scarcity you put in is not actually be and buy anytime, then they are going to keep delaying the purchase of your products or your services. So if you learn how to say no, you're going to protect your delivery quality. If you're in a service business, for instance, you can only accept 5 people per month, and you have 30 people who actually want to buy from you. You let them know you can only accept 5 people. So the first 5 people that make payments with people you're going to work with that particular month. And they see that this thing is after the 5th person, you don't think, I need more money. Let me find 2 or 3 more. No, you don't do that. You let the others know that the door is closed until the following month. Then they will take you serious next time. Number 2, you'll be able to deliver very well to these 5 people, because the capacity can only serve 5 people efficiently. They're going to deliver very well to these 5 people. Number 3, you're going to position. All right, people know you as a brand that's integrity. You're a man of the word. So you say you're only accepting 5, and you realize you only accepted 5, then it increases your brand perception. All right, it increases your position. People see you that, oh, others are really trying to work with you. When people see that people are actually buying from you, let me say Nigeria with rush. They want to buy from you also. All right, so it decreases your brand perception and it prevents dilution. You're not scattering your energy. All right, trying to serve people that you're not able to serve because there are too many. All right, you don't want to do that. You want to focus. You want to give people high quality deliveries so that they can even refer you next time. You can talk about your brand. That's because it strengthens your brand perception. And you want to signal standards. You have standards. If you say only 5, then only 5. You want to signal that. You want to signal that then people know that okay, this brand, their words is law, all right? What they say they do is what they need to do. So when people see that you raise their standard, they come and match their standard, all right? And if you limit your capacity, it will increase your demand signal, all right? You can only accept 5, but make sure you always have more demand than your capacity. All right, I can only accept 5. It gets people to always want to work with you. That is what you should know about saying no. Saying no increases demand for your business only if the no is true, genuine, and people realize its consequence if they don't take you seriously. And just like I did with Faith in each of our episodes, saying no is what I'm going to leverage on. It means you have contentment. So yeah, on one hand you have ambition, you want to make more sales, but your capacity is limited. All right, if you are able to say no, shows you are content with serving those 5 people and serving them maximally, giving them high quality people. That is a good trait of a brand. So that if you can do that, and then from 30 people wanting to buy from you, you can only sell to 5. And then you keep generating leads. You have 60 people wanting to buy from you, you can only sell to 5. Then you'll be forced to actually hire more hands and increase your capacity. All right. So now that you increase capacity, you can now sell 10 or 15 people, but make sure that you still have that people that actually want to buy from you, because you will always want your demand to be higher than supply every single time. And if you are content, you're not trying to get all money at all costs. This will be your reality. So in essence, what I'm saying is that contentment is what you should have. Contentment is great even in the midst of ambition. The tension there is that some people have ambition without contentment, so they accept everybody and then they are burnt out. While some have contentment without ambition, that might create stagnation, because contentment without ambition means you not want to generate more leads. If you don't have more demand than you can supply, you get to a point where it's like people to come and work with you. All right, so you always want to have the ambition there, but you are content with what you can actually do. The ambition will get you to run the ads, to generate as many leads, to feed your pipeline, 60 people ready to pay. But the contentment will make you realize you can only accept money from 5 people or from 10 people. And that tension, demand and supply tension, gets you to always be oversubscribed and get your demand to always be predicted. So healthy growth like that is built on gratitude for what exists. As a person of faith, you should always have gratitude, you should always be content. Don't be like many technicians that you give jobs to do, but they have too many people that are giving them jobs and they cannot complete all their jobs. All right, so you want to thank God for what God has given you, capacity has given you to serve people. Be grateful for it. Serve those people, serve them maximally. All right, but you should also have ambition. You should have vision for what is possible. You're not going to remain at the level of 75 people. You're going to hire more hands. You're going to serve 10, 15, 20, 30. While you are doing that, you're still going to keep generating it. All right, that's your visions. So it's tension, the balance between contentment, vision, contentment, and ambition. All right, so contentment protects your integrity. You are content with where you are, but ambition ensure that you are disciplined, you are diligent, and doing everything you can do to always feed your pipeline. But with contentment, because you are content, you don't overpromise. You don't promise what you cannot do. All right, you don't scale too early just because I have 60 people that want to work with me. Let me quickly scale and employ 10 people at the same time so that we can deliver to these 60 people. No, don't scale too early when you've not yet mastered the system in your business. So you scale gradually because you are content, and this is how your business will gradually be stable, built on the rock. All right, that's what you want to do. You don't compromise your positioning because you are content. Just because you are serving this market today, then you hear tomorrow, another market is booming. Somebody is serving that market. You want to leave your market and go serve that market. You're jumping from one industry to another. That's because you lack contentment, you lack stability. You can't stay on one thing for quite a long period of time until it actually grows and produces results. So your growth must have contentment. It's contentment to create stability for your life and for your business. Yeah, so that is the end of this episode. So let me just do a quick recap for what we talked about in this week's episode. Your demand is measurable. All right, you always want to review your demand every week. All right, every week, evaluate our inbound inquiries increasing. Are you generating leads? Everything we touched on in this episode. Are we generating leads? Are people referencing specific content when reaching out? Do you have reviews of your past customers, case studies about how you're able to help them solve their problem or achieve their outcome? Is conversion becoming easier for your brand? All right, that's the point that your position is great, and maybe your ads is also scaling your positioning, your authority out there. Our objections decreasing. So objections are decreasing. That means your authority is becoming strengthened, your positioning is there, and your ads are scaling that authority. All right, it's authority growing across platforms. So you want to think about this. If you're sharing content and it looks like your content are high quality, but nobody is seeing the content because already, can you run ads so that you can distribute this content to as many audience as possible so that you can reach a larger group of audience? You want to do all this. Now, if you do these reviews and you realize that your demand is not actually increasing, then you want to check your messaging consistency. Talk about consistent visibility, right? You want to check if your proof is visible, your case studies, testimonials, visible. I think this is your authority. Is it deep enough? People respect your opinions about the matter in your industry. Do you have frameworks about how you do your stuff? Right? Is your follow-up consistent? Marketing? Do you message people? Do you do retargeting ads? All right, so follow-up consistent. The position is sharp, or you are still trying to get your messaging right. All right, there's no problem if you are still trying to get your messaging right, but just make sure that you get to that point where your messaging is right, your position is consistently and it's sharp. Because in reality, demand doesn't rise accidentally. Accidentally you just have demand. No, yeah, it's engineered. Demand rises when systems. All right. So the take home for this week episode is that the goal is not more traffic. The goal is not. It's not even follow up. That is great. All of that leading to one goal. The goal is stronger demand. That's everything about being a subscribers. Having more demand than the supply. So the goal is not the market. All of these are the features that lead you to the goal, right? Goal is having stronger demand in your business. And you have stronger demand when you have clearer positioning. The goal is not chasing after clients. The goal is becoming the obvious choice for clients that are ready to actually buy from you. So when you do everything that I've said in this episode, your demand will be engineered. When your demand is engineered, sales will feel lighter and trying to convince people to buy. Right? Conversations will be shortened and not stressing yourself, prospects and convincing them to buy. Their objections will shrink. Your pipeline is not nice. You have people in the pipeline ready to buy from you. And that's, my friend, is what we call demand amplification. Now, if you like this episode, I want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, share it with your friend, like this video, subscribe, and watch out for the next week episode. But also, if you want to work with me to actually help you engineer demand for your brand, all you have to do is to go to pmi.ng/digital-launchpad and subscribe to our Digital Launchpad Accelerator. Do the course session and then meet with you in the course session and show you how we can help you engineer demand for your brand and get your brand oversubscribed in the market. See you next week in the next episode.